The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
It is time to change the intro.
Yes. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles are 2025 Super Bowl champions. Regz and I have been waiting to do an episode like this, an episode where we get to celebrate a championship. And Regz, it's here, baby boy.
Yeah, I don't, again,
Congrats, man.
we didn't talk about this. That's exactly what I was going to say first, was that we need to change the intro music, baby.
It's gotta happen. We're gonna finally get it. Unreal.
I think you and I are still processing, because there wasn't like this, there wasn't the tension that usually is in these games, and then you kind of release it all once the clock goes to 0.
Right.
This was like me being overly paranoid with 2 minutes left, and they did the Gatorade thing, and I was like, it's too early. I said, it's too early. I was like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing?
They're up 3 scores, and they're up 3 scores, and Regz is still having.
I was losing my mind. I was like, guys, what are we doing?
No, I agree. This is not a game where we sat there with tension. When it ended, I almost didn't realize it was over. I was still at a point where I was like, oh my God, they won. It just didn't click. You know, they were so good all night. From an offensive perspective, from a defensive perspective, they were so good that it almost felt like it shouldn't have happened. I don't know how to explain that necessarily.
I mean, I think for me, it was like, I couldn't allow myself to think this is over. Like literally up until Kenny Pickett came in the game, I was like, they could still come back and do this. Like, it's Patrick Mahomes. What if he's like, if anybody could score 3 touchdowns in a minute 48, like it takes a touchdown, an onside kick, another touchdown, and then it's a 1 possession game. I'm going through all these scenarios in my mind of like how this can still go poorly, literally until Calcaterra recovers that onside kick after the Worthy touchdown.
For sure.
As soon as he gets that, I'm like, okay, now, like, it still didn't sink in. Even when it hit 0, I just kind of like stood up for the last kneel down and waited for it to say 0 before I like put my hands in the air.
I actually don't know when it hit. Like, I'll be honest with you. I know that I knew they won.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I knew the game was over. I know that I knew the team had completed what we thought they wouldn't complete. I think for me, Regz, the struggle, because we said it on the show, we never expected it to be like that.
Yeah.
Like for us, when you consider the championships we've seen in our lifetime, the 08 World Series championship, like the tying run was on base.
Yeah.
The go-ahead run was on base. Right? The Super Bowl in 17-18, Brady, like that ball just barely lands.
Oh my God, I was a mess. I was like, oh my God, we gave Tom Brady a Hail Mary chance. Of course we're gonna lose.
Yeah, and they would have had a shot at 2 to tie it. So like, and there was no like real. I think the moment, and we're gonna. I mean, look, we're gonna talk about all of it, but I think the moment where I was like, it's happening, was the throw to Devontae.
Yeah.
That's when I like fell to the ground and said, they're winning this game. It was at that point that I knew they were winning the football game. What a throw, what a catch.
The catch is unbelievable.
Yeah, but like, yes, it was. But also, you know, I want to throw credit where it's due to a guy who doesn't get enough of it. That was an absolute dime.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, that catch, like in the moment, you're like, oh, that's it was an unbelievable throw. But then you see the replay and you're like, good Lord, Devontae, like what a catch.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right though. An absolute dot to seal the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. In the third quarter.
Right. I don't know. I think I'm learning how to describe it as we continue to just sort of talk it out. It's like not all my emotions have come out. You know what I mean? Like usually when, like we said before, there's that tension and then there's, like you said, at the end of that Hail Mary, when you see the ball hit the ground, all your emotions just release at one time. Yeah. Like I went running around my house. You know what I mean? Quietly, because my middle son was sick as a dog. And we had just put him to bed after throwing up for 2 hours. So I'm silently running around my house. We won the Super Bowl,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the release that happens, right? In these championship things, like in a baseball, right?
Right.
The last out. Like when you and I watch Ranger, get the last out to go to the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, this
there wasn't any of that tension to like, there wasn't that moment where all your emotions just get to like, just burst to the surface. And they're just like slowly bubbling up. And then every time one hits, you're just like, what are we doing? Like, where am I? What are we talking about? Like, what did I just watch?
You watched the at one point, I couldn't even tell you what the score was, but the Chiefs sideline just looked totally dejected.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to Andrea, it's over. It's over. Like they're gonna win this game. And for me to say that in the third quarter was unheard of, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the first quarter, 17-0. We're all kind of like, let's see. I called you when? When did I call you?
Before the start of the fourth quarter.
24-0?
Yeah. It was it was in between the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, I called you at the end of the third quarter and you were like, "What? Why are you calling me?" And I was like, just to say it's 15 minutes, right? Like
I said I was with you. I was like, I am not, this is not over.
Yeah, 28-3 was like ringing in my ears. 28-3 was right there in my mindset.
You know who's on the other side? Like Patrick Mahomes is the Tom Brady of this generation. Like he is the one quarterback in all of football that you're like, no lead is safe if that guy still has a chance to do it until proven otherwise, which he was tonight. But it's like, you're still not, I didn't feel comfortable.
No. No.
And I
think when we look back on this, we'll definitely talk about the defense and how good they were, because
oh my God.
It just felt like I've never seen Patrick Mahomes look like that before.
Because he
ever
since the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, he hasn't.
No.
Like he just there's not like go back and find an example. There's one other time in his career that he's looked like this. Just one.
Yeah. It was truly a remarkable performance.
Like
the fact that like even when he had a moment's notice to throw a football, it wasn't accurate.
Oh yeah.
Like the one play that I go back to and I'm like, oh man, that was there, was the Hopkins one that he dropped, which was weird. He looked like he just swatted it to the ground. It was a weird play.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like there weren't many throws that were incomplete that you were like, that should have been complete. Like
it was more so you're like, you're more so like, how does he miss that? Like Patrick Mahomes doesn't miss those throws.
Right. So it's just a weird duress game for him where he just could not settle. You know, they 0% blitz rate tonight from the Birds. Didn't blitz one time. They did a couple where they dropped guys and brought different guys. They did that once or twice.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to do that. Like they were getting enough pressure. At one point I was like, how many sacks do they have? It felt like every play they were hitting him.
Yeah.
And it was definitely he was dropping his eyes.
Yeah.
And that was a huge difference, you know, in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, or he was feeling them even if they weren't right on him. Like he was waiting for them to get there or anticipating them being there.
Right. Right. It was a special performance from a bunch of guys. I want to shout out the whole line. Like Morrow was great. It was interesting. Andy came out basically saying we're not running the ball tonight.
Yeah. I mean, they tried a few times, but like this run defense, as usual, was fantastic.
They went that first possession 4 straight throws.
Yeah.
They didn't run the ball. Which to me was a sign of they don't think they can. And look, they can't. They simply cannot run the ball in this Eagles line.
Yeah.
Like they, you know, but when I think about the defensive line, Ajima was unreal tonight. Like dude came out of nowhere and made multiple plays.
Yeah.
We didn't see a big Jalen Carter play early in the game on the third down play. He broke through, got shoved into Mahomes.
But again,
Mahomes threw it away.
And I know you're not. I know you're not saying he didn't have an impact, but like, that's how good that guy is that the attention he got freed up everybody else. Like,
and Regz. Here's the thing. I might watch it later, like when I go back and rewatch a game, and there might be 3 or 4 plays. I
still think there were times he was getting pressure and it allowed other guys to get to Mahomes.
Right.
Like he's doing so much to take up space or create these lanes. And then, the other guys are getting home. Like that's his job. Like that's what he does.
Yeah.
It was just, I can't. It's Patrick. Like I'm going to curse a lot this episode. So just,
you're good. You're good.
Just
you do your thing. I'm going to have another bite of wings. Yeah. So keep going.
We try not to, I get it. I've been trying to be better about it, but this one, I'm going to give myself a pass for this episode. It's Patrick fucking Mahomes. We were shutting them out until some garbage time touchdowns. Like this Chiefs team was going for a 3-peat. They were 16-1 in the regular season? 15-2, excuse me. Like that's who you were going against. We forced Mahomes, like, again, there was a stat before the Super Bowl started that Jalen hadn't thrown an interception since November something, and Patrick was like a week earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And we force 2 interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a strip sack. And like, this defense, man. This defense. I mean, we've been talking all year about the edges. And look, Sweat has had a fine year. He hasn't been this. He wasn't this guy. No. And like we've been talking about Nolan Smith more than Sweat for the past, 14 weeks or, 13 weeks, whatever it's been.
Especially in the postseason.
Yeah. And that dude dominated like a full quarter of this Super Bowl. Like right when it was still like, listen, I know it was 24-0 or whatever it was. We're still in like, this is possible to come back from. He's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. It takes a touchdown, a stop, and another touchdown, and this thing is getting a little hairy.
Yep.
And like Sweaty just was like, nope, it's not happening. And just played I think the game of his life.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't get over first of all, there was another moment where I was like, this might actually end up being what we said it could be. which was a multiple score game, was the Cooper DeJean pick six.
Yeah. Yeah.
What instincts? First of all,
oh my God,
I it's amazing to me because Jeffrey Lurie said this week that it's a miracle when you get one guy who you have a grade like they had on Quinyon, but it's another level when you end up with two guys you had the same grade on. They didn't think that you would get either of them.
And again, how many times did they actually throw at Quinyon this game?
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot.
Like,
there was actually
the Hopkins touchdown, but like,
yeah, at that point
he was right there. It's not like he was out of coverage.
No, that was actually a really, really.
It was a really good throw and a really good catch.
Yeah, he was right there. Earlier in the game, there was a play where, with a lot of motion, he ended up sticking right with, what's his name? The speedy receiver from Texas. Yes.
Well, yeah, Mahomes had to check it down at one point because he was trying to get it to Worthy deep, and they showed that little. Somebody tweeted that dots like that the Next Gen Stats put out, and he's
that's
like,
what Kyle sent me.
Yeah, he's like, look how tight Quinyon is. That's why Mahomes didn't throw it. You just got he's a rookie. The best quarterback ever decided I'm not taking that chance.
And you know what? On top of that, like on that play or play near that time frame, was Cooper DeJean locking down Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Like this, look, we'll talk about it more next week, but like this defense, when I look at it again, I'm going to have to look at it from a different lens, not one that is like 7-8 drinks deep, but
this is my first drink tonight, by the way. I haven't,
good for you.
I haven't drank. It's because I'm a nut. I haven't drank during the game for this entire playoff.
You should be hosting this show because I am a mess.
I didn't have one drink during a game this entire playoff.
No, I went to two breweries before this game.
Oh,
and I was there. Yes.
Yeah.
I poured out some Captain and Cokes during the game. Anyway,
I was on the superstition train. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm still like capable of having these conversations. It's just I'm not fully there yet where I can believe this happened.
It's like a fever dream.
Yeah. I do. There are a couple things I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get to
I'm gonna put some of it in your lap because I do want to go get my phone.
Yes, let's do it.
I'm gonna grab my phone and I'll be right back down. But I'm gonna put this right in your wheelhouse here. Talk to the people about this offense and if you would have seen before this game that Saquon Barkley would have had 24, 25 carries for 56 yards. What that would have felt like for you just seeing that box score. Talk about that.
Yeah.
I'll be right back down. Then I'll give my response.
Yep.
I have no idea what you're gonna say, so we'll see if we're aligned.
Yeah.
But what would your thought process been if Saquon Barkley, if you looked at the box score, you knew the game was played, you open up your phone, Saquon 25 for whatever it was, 57.
Yeah. I think it's real simple. I would have thought it's a touchdown game. And we're going to go into the fourth quarter, and this is going to be the most nerve-wracking, like tension-filled fourth quarter that we've experienced in a very long time. Credit to the Chiefs defense. They were phenomenal against the run tonight. I texted you this, I texted Azzy this, but I still thought Landon was playing really hurt. Like he had a series there where he was getting shoved off the ball and just like blown through for a good 6 or 7 plays. And I think we weren't holding our blocks the best. Like there were just a lot of guys getting off blocks quickly to stop Saquon, 2 or 3 yards in the backfield or right at the line of scrimmage. And it just like if you just looked at that, you know, I would have said, you know, we would have gone to that fourth quarter, and I'm saying it's a 2 or 1 point game. And this is going to be the most stressful fourth quarter, 15 minutes that I've ever had in my entire life. But look, man, credit to the Chiefs defense. They were getting off blocks. They were flying to the ball. They were making tackles. It's a good defense. It's a good, well-coached, talented defense. And, Saquon started to, get like, the 6-7 yarders towards the, third and fourth quarter. Obviously, Chris Jones going out is a big part of that. All credit to that guy. That dude's a beast. Like, just an absolute beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to give credit where it's due. It's the one team that's actually executed against this Eagles run defense or run offense.
Right.
They tackled well. They were flying to the ball. They were getting off blocks from our linemen. Like, they played really well. They just played really good run defense. And like I said, my reaction would have been, we win this game by 1 point or 3 points. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been a toss up. It would have been a coin flip at that point.
Yeah, I actually would have had them losing, honestly.
I don't think that's a incorrect way to think. I don't think that's
Yeah, and that's credit to Jalen.
Yeah.
Look, we do have someone hanging out in the they disappeared. They were in the stream.
He's coming
stream
back.
Channel.
Come back.
Come on back, Eric. We'll bring you in. I think for me it would have been a loss. I truly thought Saquon would break one at some point. Credit to them. They were dedicated to controlling him. One thing that I will say, and I think I texted you this pretty early. If they were going to allow Jahan Dotson to win one-on-ones, they weren't winning the game. And,
what a game from that guy.
Yeah, well, early. He disappeared. No, but
that's what I mean. No, that's fine. But I mean, to start the game, like, I don't know about you, but you texted me this. As soon as they lost the coin toss, I'm like, shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, we have to come out and do something and set the tone here. And look,
shitty pass interference.
Yeah, right. It was just awful.
They did get a makeup though.
They did.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Sure.
They got a makeup. Yeah.
But Dotson stepped up on that next drive. Like, good for that guy.
It was a great catch.
For going out there and being ready to play and playing hard and being like, dude, I'm not taking this off because, the ball barely gets my way.
And the following possession on a 2nd and long catches the ball in the flat and takes it for a first down.
Yep.
Multiple good plays from him tonight. And I said, like, if he's going to win routes, they're going to have a nice night offensively. And it turned out to be that way. They also, getting AJ Brown on a linebacker is not really fair.
An interesting way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice, and they got him on one, and that was an easy 6. Not necessarily something I'd suggest, and something that actually worked out for the Eagles. I think for me, Regz, when I think about this game over, I just keep going back to it's never this way, which is why we're struggling so much to come to grips with it. 2 years ago, we were on the show nearly in tears for the other reason.
Yeah.
We were on this show because of a call at the end of the game that buried them. And I just think tonight this team knew they were the better team. And they played that way. They played as the better football team for 4 quarters. It was never in doubt who was the better team. And I think I heard someone say, it was being treated as the Chiefs are going for history and the Eagles are in their way. When really the whole time it probably should have been the Eagles are the best team in football and the Chiefs are in their way of proving that. And honestly, that's just the truth. This team showed that they're the best team in football. And the Chiefs were just standing in their way. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
And
I
keep refreshing Twitter just to like see all the clips and everything else, and like
I'm bookmarking everything.
Yeah, Saquon shotgunning beers shirtless, like, pictures of Coop and Q smoking cigars. Like, this is a team whose best players are rookies or like second year guys on defense, or guys nobody had faith in being willing to do what they can do, like Zach Bond or CJ. Like, look, we got CJ back. CJ did not have a good season in Detroit.
Right.
He wasn't coming off like, yes, he was fair, but still, you didn't bring him back being like, ooh, we caught a guy coming off a heater here.
Right.
And your defense was anchored by two rookies at a position where, as the great Shio Kapadia would said for months, rookie corners don't perform well. Like, the only ones that do are some of the greats.
Yeah.
And we had two of them. Like, and a guy in Jalen Carter who's in his second year and has turned into one of the most dominant defensive linemen in all of football. Like, this defense wasn't a bunch of all pros and Pro Bowlers coming together to like form this super team.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of guys that you were like, well, it could be really good. Like, they're really talented, but it also could be really bad. Like, we don't know. We don't know. Are they going to buy into the Vic stuff? Are they going to be ready to play? Are they going to be willing to put in the work that Vic requires?
Right.
We didn't know any of that. And they showed up and turned into the number one defense and shut down the best quarterback of our generation.
Yeah.
In a Super Bowl. Not just like a week 12 game in Kansas City, the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Where this dude shows up and doesn't lose. Like, he doesn't lose. And they made him put up a goose egg until garbage time. Like, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. It was truly an unbelievable performance. Just a couple of things. We do have someone in the
and then we can pull somebody in.
We'll bring them in, but I want to say this real quickly. Did you see the Nick Foles tweet?
There's been a few of them I've like scrolled past, but like, what did he say?
It's really cool that Tom Brady got to be there for the Eagles' 2 Super Bowl wins. He might be a good luck charm. Have a great night.
Fucking Nick Foles.
Freaking Nick.
I love it. I love it.
I guess when you can unravel your John, that's what happens.
Right.
Like when it unravels, at command, that you can do that. So, all right, let's bring in Randy. Randy wanted to be here for the 200th episode. He couldn't be. Bring him on in.
Here we go.
Randall.
Yo,
there he
is. Baby. Happy Super Bowl champion night.
Dude, yes. I mean, yes. Yes.
He's in the same boat we are. He has no idea what to do. I don't know what to do I don't know what to do with my hands.
Listen, I'm like 12 garage beers deep.
That a boy.
That's a win.
I'm way behind you guys. I feel terrible.
I have been, drinking garage beers. I've held them in my hand, and I do throughout the playoffs. They have a good play. They were undefeated, so I went out and got more, but drank out of the same case during the game. So I finished the case for all the playoffs.
I love everything about this.
We won the Super Bowl. I will now only drink garage beer.
I was about to say, and out of that case, possibly.
Yeah.
The case is gone now. The case is gone now.
Right.
I finished the last one in the third quarter.
This is truly.
I've been doing roughly three a game.
Wow.
So I mean, Just give us your thoughts, man. What's going
through your head?
Ask the question, when did you feel like we got this? We've talked about a few different times, but when did you feel like
I'm nervous.
this, we got this?
I'm a nervous guy, so I mean, like, even towards the end, I still felt like just uneasy, just because that's who I am. I'm a warrior, but I don't even know. Like through the second quarter, I just like things feel good, things feel right. The defense is on fire, and then going into that third quarter, get towards the end, there about 3 minutes left. I remember like just looking at my wife and being like, "They got this. Like this is it. Like it's done." So it was like probably stapled in like the third quarter for me. But it was just, and then just Brandon Graham's last game, man. Oh my gosh.
We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten there. The play for me was the Devontae Smith touchdown. That's when I knew that they were winning this game. That's when I locked in. When I said to my wife, like, this is happening, so let's just buckle in for 16 more minutes. But it was that play. It was that play. It was that catch. I do want to ask you, Randy, while we have you, your thoughts on Jalen, because this is a dude who's been sort of buried by the national media. He has been questioned over and over again. Jordan Love was going to beat him, then Matthew Stafford was going to beat him, and then Jaden Daniels was going to beat him. And then it was, he's got no prayer against Patrick Mahomes. Dude comes out tonight and puts up 300 yards of total offense, wins Super Bowl MVP. Where is he now on the list of Eagles quarterbacks all time? Like, to me, I think he's one. I think this is the game that puts him at one. What say you, Randy?
I mean, he has to be at one. Like, where else are you going to put him? I mean, like, what for me with him, it's the fact that he doesn't need to light up the board, the stat sheet, to feel great about who he is and who his team is. Like, he wants the team to succeed, not just him. So he don't care if he throws for 0 yards as long as he's doing what he can to help that team win. And I think that selflessness alone, man, and just he takes a lot of shit, but all he does is win. I mean, what do you want from him? I mean, do you want him to put up 400 yards and 3 scores in a loss, or do you want him to put up a $120, a score, and a tush push in a win? Like, he wins. Zip your lips. He wins. He's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. Go Birds.
I think the biggest thing is that you can't doubt how this guy shows up in the biggest moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, his best 3 games of his career are a Super Bowl loss, an NFC Championship game, and a Super Bowl win. Like, that's his 3 best performances. So when you talk about, like, can this guy lead you to a championship? Like, yeah, he fucking can. Like, he just did. He plays
and him reflecting.
Yeah.
Him reflecting on getting benched in the national championship game and, like, basically thanking that moment for happening because that's who made him. I mean, that's probably the most embarrassing time of his life, and he's using it as a growth mechanism. Like, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like, yeah, you can talk about regular season games and say what you want about some weird game, against Carolina where the offense looks like it does. This dude has played his best games in the 3 biggest moments of his Eagles career.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you need to say about the guy? As a quarterback, as a competitor, as an athlete, as a now Eagles icon.
Like, let's look at it from this perspective. This is a dude who has now played in more Super Bowls than any Eagles quarterback. That's one. He's won one, which is as many as any other Eagles quarterback ever, right? And he's 26. He's 26. And there were many possessions tonight where the Chiefs brought blitz, and what did Jalen do? Tucked it and went for 15, 20 yards at a pop.
Huge pickups.
Like those are plays that like won't be remembered because they're not the flashy plays. But those are plays that need to be recognized as difference making. That's what he's capable of doing. So, Randy, I agree with you, man. Like I'm with you 100%. Let me ask you this, and then we'll let you go here. What is the thing you're going to remember most about tonight? What is the you know, what is the moment for you? Like, what is the thing you're taking with you? It's our second Super Bowl, second in 7 years. But as you lay your head on the pillow tonight, what are you taking with you besides you hope that you and I are going to the parade this week?
We are going to the parade. I don't know that I'm laying my head down tonight. We'll see. For me, if this is the first Super Bowl that like my daughters are old enough to actually like care about, and they were just as excited as me all day. They were antsy. They asked to go for a bike ride at like 5:00 because they got tired. They're tired of waiting for the game to start. For me, it's watching it with them, and talking to them about like just everything going on and just that moment with them. But in the game, I mean, I don't know. There's so many, but that Devontae Smith catch, like I'm gonna think about that a lot. I'm gonna think about them bringing inner excellence to AJ Brown on the bench. Um, just Jake Elliott being absolutely lights out. Just the team and just the smiles and just everyone on that team just being excited for each other. And being able to watch a Super Bowl where Kenny Pickett's coming in to close it out. Like, who would have thought?
What a moment.
Yep,
what a moment.
That's right.
What a moment. But Randy, hey man, we did it.
We did it. I mean, I drank enough beers to support, so that was my pitch in for the team. So
we appreciate
it. That's
right.
That's right. That's right. I got myself my Weller here ready to continue the show. But thanks for coming on, and I'm sure you and I'll text later this evening to continue the conversation because I'm not going to bed tonight. So.
Oh, Regz is coming down too to the parade. I mean,
I'm coming.
Regz, you're coming to the parade.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm coming. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll be there.
I'm gonna get down there with Mike, so we'll meet up with you.
I love it.
But you guys are doing a great show. By the way, happy 200th.
Appreciate it, man.
I was doing adult things, so I couldn't pop on. But appreciate you guys, man. I've heard all 200 episodes, and I love this show. I love you guys.
You're the best, man.
We
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Go Birds. We love you, man.
See ya.
Have a good one. I mean, what a great conversation.
Fantastic.
We do have somebody else in the stream right now. You want to bring him in?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring Eric in. Eric, let's see if we can get him. Eric, you there?
What up?
Eric, Super Bowl champs, baby.
Let's go, man. I felt so happy, man. I don't know if you know this, but I do a podcast, Inside Eagles Red Zone podcast, on Discord. And I think the word of the year, man, is validation. Because if anybody listens to it, we sound pretty nuts since about week 5. And Mike, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
But I keep true to the word, and I'm a very loyal person. But after that Falcons game, man, I had a weird feeling. It's all in the archive. It really is. Like I just went on. We were just watching the game on Discord through our server, and we've been praising this team all year, man. We had Nick's back when this city and a certain portion of the fan base really did not have Nick's back, and we were constantly having Nick's back. And I think I don't know, man. I told people in week 11, week 12 that this Eagles team was the best team in the NFC. We kept saying it. We kept saying it. I don't know, man. I asked my co-host today as soon as we finished. I said, "Is this sweeter than the first one?" And for the reasons that I just said, I think this is this is sweeter than the first one, because the first one, yeah, was special because it was the first, but the second one it feels so much different. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
Yeah, no, I this one to me is I think there's a different level to it because of the way they won.
Yeah.
You know,
nobody expected that. Yeah, nobody expected that. What happened?
No, that last one was very much like, oh, like shock and awe. This one, there just never felt like there was a doubt. Like we all were hanging on, like, oh, it's still, Mahomes on the other side. But at no point did any of us believe there was a chance they were losing this game.
No. I told Matt, my co-host, today, as soon as Coop had the pick, I said this game's, the momentum's right on Philly's side, and exactly what I did. I thought the only thing that I was wondering is I thought they'd have an outside run, like a nice little outside run that would go probably 30 yards.
Yeah.
And they didn't get that. But I'll tell you right now, for a guy that, dude, I mean and you, we talked about it, man. We love Carson for years, you know what I mean? And when they drafted Jalen, man, people in the city were, why? He's a gadget player. Dude, I got the quarterbacks back too, man. Like this is my guy. You know what I mean? And not just because he won a Super Bowl, but because, I mean, you got to throw that out there too. But he doesn't play. He doesn't let it bother him. And I mean, he has a hell of a team in front of him, so I can't. I'll also say, but he made his throws when he had to, but he didn't need to make 30 to 40 throws. You know, I mean, some quarterbacks you got to throw. You got to make a lot of throws, but he was clutch when he needed to be. And I think that comes down to all season. That's not just in this game. He has the pick early in the game, and people were kind of going, "Oh man, is this going to be how the game goes?" And he cleaned up really nicely, and I think it's the way that he's kind of, I know Kellen's probably going to take that. That's probably what 99%, a done deal at this point. But that's what it came out today. But I think Jalen has it in his head of the certain things that he likes to do and the things that he doesn't like to do. And I think he's comfortable with the way that he plays his game. You know what I mean? And you kind of have to understand that this is the way you're gonna get with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. I do believe that with the way that everything went down tonight, that Jalen, to me, continues to unfold as a quarterback that this organization, this franchise, this fan base has to look at in a different light than they've looked at others. You mentioned a couple of other guys, and to me, Jalen has surpassed pretty much everybody left on the list.
Agree.
Jalen last year in the Super Bowl, we talk about that fumble ad nauseum, but fumble be gone. Like if the offense, if that's a 3 and out and they punt, no one's talking about it, right? Like if that's a 3 and out and they punt, and the the Chiefs come down and score and it's 14-14, no one cares about anything. It's a forgotten point. And the Eagles gave enough leeway to Jonathan Gannon to not lose that game in 2 years ago. He shriveled. Vic Fangio after that pick did not shrivel. Like they went 3 and out right after that. It was blink and you got the ball back. Or there was a pick. I can't remember. There were so many picks. I cannot. But what Jalen did was he took advantage of situations tonight that, maybe other quarterbacks that we've had in organizational history don't. So we have to be grateful for Jalen Hurts. Here's what I want to ask, to get someone else in, but
no problem.
I want to ask you this as you head off in, your head hits the pillow tonight, whether you fall asleep or not is a whole nother conversation because I don't think any of us are. But do you believe this is the start of something bigger? Could they make a run at multiple titles here based on what they have on the offensive side of the ball, what they have on the defensive side of the ball? Is this the start, or are we winding up for another 4 years until this happens?
And I say this over and over again. You look at the last 3 years of drafting, and they've hit very well on the drafting. So as long as they keep hitting on draft picks, they will continue to be a top level team.
Yeah.
Whether guys come back or not, I mean, they're gonna find those guys that will be ready. Dude, they're a Super Bowl champ now, and that's a destination for any free agent that wants to come in here and play high level football.
Yep.
And that's something that people don't think about. People will think about and go, okay, they'll be like, okay, just kind of push it off to the side. But dude, you're playing for a chance. There's an opportunity. We're coming to Philadelphia now. Like, dude, Nick Sirianni has not missed the playoffs since he's been here. All right, you're playing at a high level on a high level football team with the talent that you have, and Howie Roseman able to draft. Like, he's hit on multiple picks. Like I said earlier, I just said like 2 seconds ago. You're coming in here as a free agent. No matter who leaves in the offseason, I am confident that those guys that they bring in will be able to do the job. Okay. The one I kind of get a little goofy with is Bryce Huff. That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
But if you hit on that, I think you look at tonight's defense and what happened tonight. If Bryce Huff even contributed a little bit, and you go, wow, like what could have been, you know what I mean? But like he would have took away from some of that, because Jalen Hunt has improved throughout, being able to play in that spot that would have been Bryce Huff.
Yep.
Nolan Smith definitely took a complete step forward in being a starter.
Mm-hmm.
If Bryce Huff plays somewhat decent, maybe one of those guys don't step up because they don't have, maybe they do. I don't know, but hindsight's 50-50. But
yeah.
Today's game, the whole season, and you look at the whole season in retrospect, things happen for a reason. But going forward into next season, I think this team still there's a 4-year window. And honestly, you keep hitting on draft picks, it keeps pushing 2 years. You hit on 3 draft picks next year, you push the window. You push the window. Fans might not think about that, but you push the window. Like I laughed the other day. We pulled up Andy Reid's draft from 2008 to 2010. Pull it up. It was dog crap. It was complete dog crap. Like they had the only one they really hit on was 6th round pick out of Cincinnati, Jason Kelsey, Danny Watkins, Jaquan Jarrett. Like they went 3 years of drafting one player. Like this, dude, you got 3 guys in the last 3 years in each draft, just nailing. Quinion Cooper, like dude, come on, like Howie Roseman, the Howie Roseman respect tour needs to start today, and it needs to keep going because there's too much disrespect. And I'll finish with that. The disrespect for Howie Roseman in this city. And dude, I'll be the first one to tell you, you listen to my old shows, I got show titles going after him. But it's the first thing I'll say is that, hey, I'm a man. If I'm wrong and I made a mistake, I man up and say, hey, like I made that mistake. Okay, you improved, you got better as a man. Like every man can make a mistake, but you got to realize that mistake was said, and you got to fix that mistake.
Yeah.
Like, and he fixed it. And Howie Roseman's God. Like all these other Philly teams out there with a 4 for 4, 5 for 5, Howie Roseman sits at the top, and until otherwise, he'll continue to sit at the top. But no, I mean, I figured I didn't know if this was a live show or something. I thought you guys were just hanging out and some of that. So that's why I was like, let me just jump on and kind of give you the thoughts.
No, happy you did. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna jump. We're gonna jump to our next.
Man, have a good time. I'll talk to you guys.
Thanks, man.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I agree. Howie's Howie, the king. I don't think there's any argument there, and until someone dethrones him.
I think the biggest thing that you just brought up was kind of like, what's the difference in feelings from 17, to now? 17 felt like the culmination of a lot of guys like Fletch and Kelsey and Lane, maybe a little bit,
JP.
JP, guys like that.
Yeah.
Even, Alshon and Malcolm and, Chris Long and Ertz and all those guys. It felt like the end of the tunnel for those guys. With the way this team is right now, this feels like the gate just opened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. And I think because also you feel some stability, because I don't think Vic's not going anywhere.
No.
He wants to be here. He wants to be with the Eagles until he decides he's going to retire. So I think I don't the window is open, man. Again, we're not saying it's easy to get back. It's really hard to do what the Chiefs do, or what the Astros do, did for a long time in baseball. It's really hard to do that. But this team is uniquely set up, to be at the beginning of one of these kind of runs.
Yeah. Well, let's get one more person in here, and then we'll wrap it after that. But it looks like we have Grayson. I don't know if that's Grayson or if that's Brian, but let's bring him in.
Let's do it.
All right, Grayson. It's Brian. What's up, baby? Go Birds.
He did go Birds. He was going to be up, but he just went to bed. He was tired because he had a baseball practice today, and the game takes a lot out of him, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all exhausted. I said to Regz, this will be our last call of the night, because I mean, I'm not gonna go to bed, but I just need to go sit and sit. I've invested so much into tonight energy wise, but how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. Remember, I was on the text thread with you and Roger, and I said I feel good. I feel good about this game, and I did. Now I didn't think it was gonna be 40 to whatever it was. I didn't think it was going to be that, but I felt good. I just felt good. And of course, I had people texting me all through the game, are you doing, how about now? You did not until the confetti drops is when I'm finally going to be able to just relax. But I'm feeling great, man.
And that's sort of the next piece I want to ask you. Was there, of course, I'm the same way, get me when the confetti drops, but I also felt really good at certain points in the game, like the Cooper DeJean pick six, the Devontae touchdown catch, all those things gave me comfort and almost reassurance that it was happening. Did you have any moment tonight where that happened for you?
I think it was the DeAndre Hopkins drop catch. That was right before the halftime, right?
Yeah.
That one, because that doesn't happen. So when that happened, and then when they stopped them, because I thought, all right, Andy Reid's going to be able to make some adjustments. They're going to come and do something. I really wanted them to stop, in the third quarter on the first drive, but I wasn't quite sure if they were going to, because it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Once they did that, and the Chiefs still didn't seem to have any answer, I thought, all right, I think we may have something here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then,
that's
the
a really
fact
good one.
That we, held them to no points before halftime, and, they had that pass drop, and I just thought that was huge. That was huge. So I started to feel a little bit better, after they stopped him on that first drive in the third quarter. But still, as Eagle fans, we've had our years of heartbreak. So I still wasn't like 100%, but I started feeling something.
I already said I didn't feel good until Calcaterra recovered that onside kick with a minute 40 left. I was like, Patrick Mahomes could still do this. I'm like, if it was any other quarterback, I'd be like, this game's over. But it's Pat Mahomes. Like, if there's any other quarterback in the world, there's only one guy who you would feel like that about, and we were playing him. So I'm like, I can't feel good about this until we have the ball and all we have to do is kneel and that guy is sitting on the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my wife and my daughter was like, I think they got this. I'm like, you don't understand,
My middle son came making fun of me because he came into the room and said, and saw the score. He had like went and done something and then came back. It was like 24-0. He's like, oh, so the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. And I knocked on the wooden like thing next to the couch. And I said, stop saying that. And he's like, why? The Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. And that's all he did all night, was just come back and be like, I was like, you don't understand this, but I'm going to kill you if you keep saying this. Like, we have a problem. I know you don't know this yet or what this means, and I'll teach you one day, but like, if you keep saying this, you might be living in the woods outside.
Yeah. We talked about it. We talked about it during the show. We talked about it earlier. Like, there's so many moments in Philly sports where it just wasn't easy. The 08 World Series win had to come down to like the go ahead run on base. Right. And Super Bowl 50, whatever it was at this point, but 2017-18, the Hail Mary, that ball landed off the hands of three different Patriots. And if it gets caught, they're going for two to tie it. So, nothing's ever come easy. It almost felt like unrealistic that the game was pretty much over halfway through the third quarter.
Right.
It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was supposed to be that way. But here we are, Super Bowl champs. Incredible run by this team. And this is the way I've been kind of ending calls tonight. So I'm going to ask you this. You put your head on the pillow tonight, whether you fall asleep or not. Is this the beginning of a run from this team similar to what we just saw from a Chiefs team? Or, are we setting up for another 4 years till this happens?
Well, if you remember when Doug Peterson, when they won it in 2017, and he's like, this is the new normal. This is the new normal.
Yep.
So, and you kind of thought, okay, maybe it might be. I don't know, man. This team is young. Yep. Jalen Hurts is 26 years old.
Yeah.
And the defense is young. So I'd like to think that we've got some fun years ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And I was trying to explain this to my son, who's he's going to be 12 next month. And I'm like, dude, I had to wait 40 years for an Eagles Super Bowl championship. And you've experienced, like, he was 5 in 2017. So I remember him running around like he was, excited because I was excited, but it wasn't obviously the same as experiencing the loss 2 years ago or, now experiencing the win. Like, my dogs are freaking out because we were yelling, we were jumping, we were high-fiving, we were, so I'm trying to explain to him, like, you realize, I hope you appreciate, I'm saying this to a 12-year-old.
Yeah, right.
I hope you appreciate, all of this because this, we've been through some pretty rough years, but I think the next few, I think are going to be some exciting times in Philadelphia Eagles history.
I said the same thing to my 10-year-old.
Yep.
It is one of these situations where it's you're right. It's a young team. There's a lot to be excited about. They're a team who's only going to get better from this experience. The NFC is not anything to write home about. They're easily the best team on paper when you look at the NFC.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Really good stuff.
I wanted to this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to hop on here, and I think I've said this to you, Mike, before, but I wanted to thank you guys because you guys you started during the World Series run for the Phillies? Was it that year?
The year before.
Yeah.
The year before, right? Okay, and like I've gotten to experience all of that and the Eagles and the Phillies, obviously with my son this time, and he's got he listens to your podcast with me, and so it's just another level of fandom that like I've been able to enjoy. I look forward to it. When you don't, there was a couple weeks I think when you didn't drop an episode, I'm like, what the hell, man, come on. But I look forward to it. I look forward to listening to it, and so does my son. And we talk about it, and to be able to experience this on a level, with him is something pretty special. So I appreciate you guys.
Right back
Thanks,
at you, man. You and your son. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't get him on. Tell him that we're sorry, but
I think if I went up to wake him up, my wife would kill me. So
yeah, understood. Just tell him when he wakes up tomorrow.
Yeah,
Go
that's
Birds,
right.
and special shout out to Grayson. We're excited that he listens with you.
Absolutely.
So, all right, man. We're gonna
appreciate
man,
you.
We're
Thanks.
gonna wrap it up here, but thank you.
All right, go Birds.
Yeah, go
Go
Birds.
Birds.
Yep. Later.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Anything else?
Gonna
have to process.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's still surreal. It's still, I don't know. I think I can end it with this. Despite my prediction, despite us talking about it, despite what we've seen from this team over the past 14 weeks, I don't think I ever allowed myself to really truly believe that they were going to win it. Yeah. Like I couldn't bring myself to be that confident, that sure of it. And again, like I said, I wasn't sure of it until literally Kenny Pickett started kneeling at 142.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's unbelievable. It was so exciting. It was, I don't know, man. It was just it's one of those things. Like we haven't seen a ton of these. This is our third Philly championship, right? And we were 37 years old. So it's not a high ratio of championships. And I couldn't even believe it when the commercials were coming up, where those merchandise commercials come up on ESPN. Yeah. It's like your team has won the Super Bowl. And you're just like, what? Yeah. Like I couldn't even believe that the t-shirts were there. And
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
And I can't believe it actually happened. Like, of course in my soul, I want it to happen. I'm not going into these things like wanting them to lose.
Right.
But you're just so invested and you're so nervous and you're so like, God almighty, it'd be awesome if they would just win it. And they fucking did it, man.
And then they do. Yeah. And then they do. It is truly one of the most special experiences. I don't know when it'll actually sink in. I know I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to throw on some pajamas and I'm going to lay on my couch and watch all of the post-game stuff on my phone, on TV, on ESPN, all of it. It's incredible. And I want to come back and say, thanks, man, for running through this like every single week. What an incredible run. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to our week 4 podcast.
Yeah.
And hear what we were saying after week 4. I gotta say, Nick, I know I've apologized multiple times on this show, but I gotta say it again, Nick. Like, I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah. A
I was very wrong.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. You just can't be. It's like I said before. It was what you felt in 17 was. I'm so happy that guys like Ertz and BG and Fletch and Kelsey, and Peters. Like, I'm so happy that they got theirs.
Yeah,
because we were so invested in them for so long.
Yeah,
and this one is like, you just almost can't, like, you're of course happy for Saquon and AJ and Devontae and Jalen, of all people, who has had the most scrutiny maybe out of anybody outside of Sirianni. And you're just happy for those guys because they're your guys. Like, despite what it is, like, this is our football team, man.
Yeah.
And you look at the defense and you're just like these, like, there's no reason these young guys can't go to a few of these with how they're playing. And so you feel different, a little bit different, because you're just like, man, these guys got a long road ahead, like, a long successful road ahead of them. But I'm so happy for Devontae, like, in his home state. There was a great story in the Inquirer, I think, about him, like, losing the state championship in the Superdome. And to be as clutch as he always is, and come down with huge catches, like, all the time. AJ for that one, like, weird being mad on the sideline to go and then catch the touchdown on the next drive.
Yep.
And Saquon for coming here and, like, that guy. We just witnessed the greatest running back season ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And it's wild. They slayed the dragon, man. Like, the Chiefs were the dragon. And it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
With a team that's that experienced and that good, well coached, and that well prepared and that talented. It's really hard to do it. And they did it, and they dominated. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I got nothing more to add to that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I really don't have words other than they did it. Enjoy it. Soak it up. Don't take this for granted.
Nope.
We won it in 18, and here we are 7 years later with another one. It's the third one they've been to since then, or including that. And now, I've asked everybody tonight, is this the beginning, or are we going to pause again? And I believe it's the beginning. And I believe we're going to do a couple more of these, along the way. And we're fortunate,
Yeah.
A 26-year-old quarterback who's been to 2 already. A head coach who's been to the playoffs all 4 years, 2 Super Bowls, and a very young defense. So we appreciate you listening. And certainly we'll be back at some point this week, hopefully with more thoughts than what we have tonight. I'm going to have to go back and watch the game again. But an incredible night. We'll never forget. We appreciate you all listening, following along. Just follow wherever. Find us, search us.
We're out there.
I'm not gonna do all the things.
We're out there.
I'm too overwhelmed. And I just want to go put my pajamas on, watch the highlights and everything. So we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening, for following. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another. And one last time in 2025. Until September. World champions. Go fucking Birds.
Let's fucking go Birds.
Oh my God. Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere. This is
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.